Hello! Do you consider yourself as a true vintage Volkswagen specialist? And do you think you can recognize the three different type of four-doors police convertibles? The Hebmüller, the Papler or the Austro Tatra? If you think you can do it and you are a true specialist, you can skip the next couple of minutes and go directly to the exam. If not, like 99.9% of the rest of the people, just watch very carefully and I will tell you exactly where to look at to recognize a Hebmüller against a Papler and against an Austro Tatra. But first, hit the subscribe button to be notified for future lessons of the Amazing Aircooled Academy. Okay, let's go. The Volkswagen Type 18 was specially designed for the German police forces. The idea came from Volkswagen dealer Schulz in Essen. The idea of the Type 18 was that 4 policemen would go quickly in and out of the car. Schulz went to Volkswagen head office in Wolfsburg and they liked the idea. So in 1948, Volkswagen commissioned Hebmüller to build 800 cars. And it took Hebmüller 14 to 60 weeks to build a car out of a sedan. The production started early 1949 and only after 275 cars the production at the Hebmüller factory stopped. The car was very basic with the canvas doors and didn't give much comfort in the cold, especially not in the rain. The German policemen didn't really like it and wanted to drive cars that was much more comfortable. So Volkswagen cancelled the order after 275 cars and Hebmüller stopped production. What a lot of people don't know is that the Hebmüller Type 18 police cars were basically done before the production of the Type 14. And it's only a small period of time that both types were produced. It's funny to mention that Hebmüller Type 18 with the highest body number, 00275, was finished on the exact same day as Hebmüller Type 14 with the lowest known body number, 1400005. And that now both of these cars are part of the Grünmann collection in Germany. But now back on the topic of the Type 18 police cars and how to recognize them. For Hebmüller, remember the top frame is mounted on the outside of the body and most of them have canvas doors. Besides that, at our early cars built in 1949, so most of those cars have banana bumper cars and they are equipped with a small side window. Regarding the doors, it's believed that only a couple were equipped with steel doors and 3 of those survived. So a steel door Hebmüller is tricky to identify, but nevertheless still recognizable by the other characteristics. After Hebmüller stopped producing, Volkswagen commissioned Austro Tatra to build the Type 18 cars. The first cars built by Austro Tatra were delivered in 1951, using 1950 cars that were supplied by the Volkswagen factory. It is believed that 203 cars were built, of which only 9 had the 2-door versions. The Vienna police got 150 of these Beetles in green, and the other 53 were for the gendarmerie. Those gendarmerie cars were delivered in dark grey. Another detail that only is used by Austro Tatra is the metal plate mounted on the running boards and the extra bump in the deck lift for the generator. And just like the Hebmüller, the convertible top is mounted on the outside of the body. Papler was the third company who produced 4-door police and utility cars. Unlike the other two, Papler didn't get commission from the Volkswagen factory and wasn't supplied with chassis or bodies. They also weren't allowed to use the 18 numbering for the bodies. Papler had to buy cars from the market and did the conversion leaving the original Volkswagen body numbers. Papler's production went from late 1951 to the end of 1952. Today there are no records of how many cars were converted for the police. A former employee remembers only around 50 Beetles and not 150 like is mentioned in some books and on websites. The Papler design differs from the other two in the front window and the convertible top frame. The mounting of the top frame is in the inside instead of on the outside of the cars and gives a much better look than the other two. The windshield, however, is rather ugly. Papler also used the standard Garmin glass, but the outer windshield surround was very different. Papler designed a wider and a squared off outer screen. The reason behind this idea was that the front screen was wider and had vertical sides. They would match up with the vertical door detachable side screens. This design was far more beneficial to the driver and passenger
especially during the winter months against wind and rain.
And now back to the doors. Hebmüller usually had canvas doors, while Papler and Austro Tatra had steel doors. But there are some Hebmüllers with steel doors, what makes the identification a little harder. But by looking at the door style and the hinge position of the three different builders can be distinguished from each other.
Let's start with the Papler. The position of the door hinges is more in the middle of the door and not on the edges. The shape of the door itself is very boxy with straight lines. The Austro Tatra has triangle door hinges mounted on the outside of the door, and the shape of the door itself is slightly different. On the Hebmüller, the hinges are smaller and on the top position of the doors, and the rear door is rounded. Here you can clearly see the different door styles of the three different brands.
Now I explained the main difference between the three builders and where to look for in identifying them. Bumper guards, side windows, top frame, front window and the doors. And now it's time for the exam. I will show you 9 different pictures of cars, and if you watch closely to my video, you should now have the knowledge to be able to identify the right builder. If you succeed, you can call yourself a true vintage Volkswagen specialist. So let's start. 9 cars. Write down the first letter of the builder of each car. A H for Hebmüller, a P for Papler, or an A for Austro Tatra.
Okay, let's go. And that were all 9 pictures. Now, write down 2 words and add them in the comments.
And if you want to have some fun, you can test your friends, partner, father, or the annoying neighbor or colleague of your work who thinks he knows everything about vintage Volkswagens. Just let him do the test and see how he feels.
So far, my first lecture for Amazing Aircooled Academy. Oh, and do you know one of these cars hidden somewhere? Please let me know. I would love to hear it and maybe I can even arrange something. Also, if you're wealthy and you want one, I know a Hebmüller 4-door police convertible for sale and I know a Papler for sale, so I can also arrange cars for you. Thank you and see you next time on Amazing Aircooled Classics.